In this video, I'm going to be breaking down a little technique that you can utilize. Kind of a cool little trick here. There's a lot of ways that you can utilize this technique. Definitely not the one that found this. I feel like a lot of people have been posting about it, but I did think there was one use case that I actually thought was kind of cool that I figured I would break down. This is the flip glitch, I think is what it's called. But basically, in this game, wherever your players line up, that is where you can hot route them to a specific route that you want. So let me explain kind of what I mean by that. So I'm just going to come out in this bunch. If you guys want to get my full ebook on the Oregon State or any of the offensive and defensive ebooks we have, they're all in our school community. $10 gets you access to everything over there. We break down the game offensively, defensively, as well as different types of tips and tricks that you can use. It's all in one cohesive content library over there. So if you want to sign up for the school site, that is going to be linked in the description down below. That being said, I did want to go over this again. I don't know who originally found this, but I do think it's kind of cool. So basically what you can do, there's a lot of use cases for it, but I think there's not as many as you would think, but there are some really cool ones. So basically what I mean by where your receiver is at when you make the hot route, it's kind of like this. Let me actually go to I think I can just show you here. So essentially, if I was in if this guy's a slot receiver and I were to flip the play, if I hot route this guy to an out route, it'll be a speed out. So you see this solo receiver over here on the left side. If I put him on an out route, it's a basic out route, right? But if I flip and immediately hot route this slot receiver to an out route, it will be a speed out. So I'll show you kind of what that means. So I'm going to flip and then I'm going to hot route the circle receiver to a speed out. So I'm going to flip, hot route him to a speed out. And as you see, this gives me the capability to have a speed out. So I could, in theory, now I could run like something to be able to attack this kind of speed out area of the field, which is a really great route in this game. Like speed outs are so good, especially from really both positions. So now you can run a speed out from an interior receiver or an exterior receiver, right? Obviously, you could just motion this guy out and put him on a speed out as well if you wanted to do something like that. I actually think this is a super underrated technique. A lot of people are in bunch, but really nobody's doing that. I actually think that's a crazy good route. It's so good that I would be willing to do that. But anyways, the thing that's really interesting is I've talked about this before, but Madden, college football, they're both based on coded on a grid system. So what that means is imagine like a straight line from the slot receiver directly, perpendicular, essentially just a straight line all the way through. So like a streak, if you will, that's the grid line. That is the slot receiver. This other, when we get them out here, obviously they become an outside receiver and then they get a different type of grid line. Okay. So what you can also do with this is if you flip your play, you can hot route them to a route, and it will essentially act as if the route is essentially flippable. So, for example, I'm going to flip, and then I'm going to hot route this slot receiver here to a crosser. So I'm going to flip, hot route him to a crosser, and you see that now his crosser is actually going almost like a corner route. Okay, so what this means practically for you guys is it kind of opens up a lot of other routes. For example, one of the ones that's actually really good is I'm going to flip and I'm going to put him on a slant immediately. And that's going to put him on a slant out. As you see, it basically flips the route. This is like one of the best ways that you could possibly run like a double corner. I should have been a man coverage, but it's a way that you can kind of cook man coverage. Now, the big use case that I thought about for this that I think is actually really cool is you have the tight end short corner. And one of the things they did was they gave us post routes, but the problem with the post routes that they gave us in the route tree is that post route is not, it goes too deep and it does not cut like a sharp flat post like it used to. It used to be a flatter, sharper cutting post that could beat man coverage. What you can do now is you can flip your play and you're going to instantly put this slot receiver on a corner route, but it's actually because he's going to cross the tight end grid, it'll put him on a tight end corner, which is now basically a sharp cutting post. So it's kind of tricky. You'll have to kind of mess around with it in practice mode, but I think it's kind of cool. So I'm going to flip and then I'm going to wait for that slot corner to kind of pass the tight end's grid. And then I'm going to put him on a corner route. So I'm going to flip. He passes the tight end grid, put him on a corner. And like I said, it might take a couple times for me to do this wait for him to go. It's actually super. It's actually super finicky. Let's see if I can get it one more time here. Okay, I'll do it to the tight end this time. Maybe I just need to do the tight end. So there you see. So you see the tight end is on a sharp cutting post, right? That I think is super cool, and I actually think that's super relevant. In terms of like if you think about it, take a look at what this does. It's now that sharp cutting post that will still get over the hard flats, but it also beats man a little bit better. And I'm pretty sure you can do the same thing to this R1 guy. I actually did it earlier. I don't know why it's not working now. Let's see if I can get it here. You really got to time it right. See right there. So I got the timing. And so now you see here that this is like the sharp cutting post, like the good post route. And so now you could run, your kind of Durham type concept. I'll talk about how to get wheels as well in just a minute. But what you'll see here is you see how, I mean, that's just a super cool, to me, that's like super cool. I don't know if you think it is, but I think that's like super cool. Obviously it takes like some practicing and you can't do it. There's like techniques to it, but I think it's pretty cool that I could flip and then put this guy on a corner, but it's actually a tight end corner, but it's now actually a post. Like, I think that's kind of cool. So anyway, the other thing that I was going to say is you can also get running back wheel routes on your outside receiver. So what you're going to do is you're going to flip and then you're going to wait for that receiver to be in the running back's grid line, and then you put him on a wheel route. So I'm going to flip, wait for him to kind of be in that area, and now you see I can put him on a slot like a running back type of wheel route. I think that's super cool. Obviously, there's a lot of ways that you can kind of get creative with it, but like think about what this opens up for us. Now we can get back into something like this that's been good for so long. Another way that we could kind of do the same basic thing here is, again, we can flip and we can put return routes can actually be a zig route. So I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to flip and I'm going to instantly put the tight end on, or the slot receiver on a return route. Put him on a return route. Now you see this is like the bench pivot type of whip route. So it's a little bit more inverted and it kind of runs a little bit deeper. So take a look at how that works. That's literally almost identical to bench pivot. So anyway, you could kind of go crazy with this. I just thought it was super cool. Again, I don't even know who I saw doing this. I think it was T Davis, but yeah, I think this is like pretty dang cool. So again, go crazy with it. I feel like I don't know how many people you realistically actually be able to hot route, but I do think it's crazy unique that you can do this. Because again, I would love to be able to put like having the ability to put the slot on a short post to me is so useful. And then from there, I could kind of go even a slot fade is honestly probably fine. So if I did this, this is probably a fine combo. We know how good the slot fade is. It still clears the flat out, and then you can throw the running back. So anyway, mess around with it. Tell me what you think. If you want to beat man coverage, I think it's super good because what you'll see is that this short cutting, totally messed it up there. Let me try to get it again here. There. I don't know. See, I don't know why that doesn't work. It's also a little bit more, it's pretty consistent if you put the tight end on the corner. Of course, I say that and I messed it up. Try it one more time. Okay. For some reason, it doesn't want to work this time. Sometimes and that's the thing. That's the thing that I don't like about it. It's a little finicky. Or it's like sometimes it feel like it works, sometimes it doesn't. A lot of it is really built into the animations, which is kind of hilarious, but it really is. It's built into the animations. Why did that not work? I literally waited. Let me just reset. We'll try to do it again. So again, you just flip, and then as he's kind of going over there, there we go. There's the short. So you see we get the sharp cutting post. Now why this is helpful, and watch man cage it, but why it's helpful, I think, is because man sharp cutting post beat man better. So you see how he gets a lot more separation. And again, I'm in 2 men under. So 2 men under is kind of stock shaded to the inside. So you just wait a little longer, I guess. Maybe I was just doing it too fast. But now I just think this is super cool. This is definitely going to be a play that I totally want to run out of bunch strong. Let's see if we can get him to cut. And of course, he got caged that time. Why wouldn't he? Of course, I say something's going to work, and why would it work? Let's see if we can get that. See how I can get a running back swing route? I don't know why you would ever use that, but I can. Let's go the tight end. Let me do the tight end post. Oh, wait. Oh, come on, bro. We'll see if we can get it. Yeah? No? Okay. Guess I just can't get it. I'll do a slant. Crap. It's so finicky. It's so finicky, isn't it? We'll do a slant out. So slant outs, they should be able to beat man. We'll see if it does. Look at man just cage, but you do kind of get it. There you go. So you see what I'm saying? You can open up like it just opens up like sharp cutting, slants now can be corners, sharp cutting posts, or sharp cutting corners can now be post, which I think, is super, super useful. I don't know why the tight end. Am I doing again? I'm probably just doing it too quick. There's got to be like a legitimate grid though. You can wait a little bit. Like we'll just wait a little longer. See, there you get a nice sharp cutting post to the tight end. So now guess what this opens up? Like this is what's crazy. You could run like a combo like this, and now you got the short post, which we know is like really, really good. If you want to get crazy, you can put the running back on a little corner route. But watch that sharp cutting post. Just fry man coverage over the middle. If we can get a nice rack, that would be ideal. But anyway, we'll wait a little longer. Yeah, so it looks like if you wait till he's like by the tackle, it looks like it's a little bit more reliable. But again, the main use case for this, I think, is man coverage. Just because the sharp cutting post is so good, man, and now you can do it from bunch, which you haven't really been able to do for a long time. So anyway, I thought this was kind of a cool little find. Again, I didn't find it. I think I saw T. Davis do it. I'll put a link to his channel, and you can go check out his stuff. I know he's got some good content. He's been doing Madden and college football stuff for a really long time. So anyways, thanks for watching the video. If you guys want to get any of my stuff, my full ebooks, offensive, defensive stuff, it's in our Skool community, and that link is going to be in the description down below.